This might be the most important video you watch this week. I'm Zach Engler, Chief AI Officer for C4 Technical Services, and today we're going to be talking about how to build an AI-first organization. So where do we start? That's the question, right? And more importantly, I think the question is why would you want to listen to me? I think the best thing I can say is you don't have to listen to me. There's plenty of other incredibly smart people out there in the world that have written about AI, that are doing AI research, that are living and breathing AI at the source. What I try to do, and why you might be interested in listening to my opinions, is I try to take what's insanely complex AI jargon, practices, and technical specifications and boil that down in a way that the average business user can actually understand it and implement it, more importantly. My background really got started in training and development, human resources, talent acquisition, and I was constantly finding myself having to digest information from complex resources and relay that to people who had no clue what we were talking about or what we were doing. So, as a recruiter, your job is to sell the company. I would take extremely complex, big ideas of what the company was working on and boil that down so a candidate could understand what they were going to be doing and why it was great to work there. As a trainer at Apple, I was taking really complex technical capabilities and boiling that down so that customers and employees could figure out how to use it and do it on a day-to-day basis. And I've just kind of built this knack and this skill for doing that over my career. Well, now AI is here. I've been thinking about AI and writing about AI for a decade in my blog. You can go check out my blog at zachengler.com or turningonmachines.com. I have receipts, right? So that you can go all the way back to the first blog post from 2016 and see what I was talking about 10 years ago. I turned all of that work into a book. It's right here. It's called Turning on Machines, and it's really meant to be like Atomic Habits for how you fold AI into your life. If you've read the book Atomic Habits, it's very similar in regard to bringing that sphere of control back to your life. Right now, there are massive movements happening with the way AI is being developed, the way AI is being built, the way AI is being proliferated throughout our society. And I think there's a part of me and maybe a part of you that says, what impact can I possibly make in all of this? So the book is really meant to be your field guide to that. At the end of each chapter, I give a set of self-reflection questions so that you can think about, like, what does this mean for me? Even though people are off building these complex systems, what does it mean for me locally? Like, how could I adopt or adapt to these new tools? How could I train and support my team with these tools? What impact could I make in my community or my family, right? Like, I want to bring that sphere of control back to you so that Sam Altman or Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg isn't the one deciding your future. You are the one deciding your future. So for C4 Technical Services, what I do as the Chief AI Officer is I take these really cool tools, these advanced capabilities of what AI can do, and I try to boil that down into a set structure of how you unfold this at your organization, a set structure of how you go from 0 to 1, and then 1 to infinity, basically, with what these tools can do. Because over the last year, I've delivered over 60 trainings to Fortune 500 companies on how to practically and strategically implement AI tools for their business. Now, as a result of those trainings, we have seen some pretty phenomenal results. Lowest performer users that come out of these training sessions usually see a 10% productivity boost in their weekly work, meaning you come to a 5-hour training session, you walk out and you get 4 hours back in your work week. If you're the worst performer, the average performers that we've been tracking are seeing around a 36% productivity boost. And again, that's like the average person. The people who are really hungry for these AI tools, the people who dig in and want to learn more constantly and are pushing themselves, they're seeing an 80% productivity boost with just 3 things. And we'll talk about those 3 things in a minute. As far as today goes, in this video, I want to walk you through this methodology that we've been rolling out. I want to talk about why it's so important to do it this way. And then we're going to wrap up with kind of how C4 can help support you in experiencing this journey in a very succinct, practical, easy to roll out way. So what we're going to do next, we're going to take a look at how I'm implementing this with Fortune 500 companies. I'm going to literally just give you the playbook because It's not the playbook that is the secret sauce. It's how it gets delivered and how it gets rolled out at your company. That's the secret sauce. And quite frankly, it's really hard to do when you have a lot of cooks in the kitchen. So that's really my goal for today. We'll hit those 3 key points. And I promise by the end of the video, I will get you the 3 things you need to drive that 30% productivity for your average AI users at your organization. So we've got the flow chart up on the screen. I'm going to walk you through it in just a second. But this flow chart, the way it works is from left to right and top to bottom. And this system isn't the secret sauce. Like I said, this system is helpful to know. The secret sauce comes with how you apply it. And that's where C4 comes in. So up first, I want to walk you through what this does. This is in and of itself something that we charge customers thousands of dollars for, and you're getting it here for free. So up first, we've got how to actually start thinking about the practical application of AI at your business. Okay, so we need to get AI rolled out effectively. There's all sorts of things to consider with this. There's change management, there's user adoption, there's ROI tracking, there's all sorts of aspects of this process that I'm not going to dive into the minutia of, but things to be thinking about as you let these ideas kind of digest and settle with how you're going to do this for your business. So up first, we need to talk about people, because I am a strong believer that AI is here to support people and augment people. It is not here to replace people. If you're thinking that way, you got it all backwards, because you have so much more room for additional lines of revenue, additional markets, additional customer segments that you are missing when you use AI as a headcount cutting tool. Instead, you should be thinking about, how do I turn my 1,000 employees into 1,300 employees without adding any headcount? That's the power of AI, and that's what we're going to be talking about. Okay, so how does this work? Well, the way we like to roll things out at C4 is we like to progress our clients through a crawl, walk, run approach. Now, you might be further along and you might already have completed the crawl stage, and that's fine. We can jump in right at the run stage and support you from there if that's the case. But the idea is, if you're just looking at rolling out maybe Copilot for your organization, or maybe you're going to get a team, the Claude Teams account or enterprise account from Perplexity or something like that, this is the place to start. And this is how we get started and really make sure that we lay the foundation for our clients. So the way we do that is we start at the crawl stage. So what's the crawl stage? The crawl stage is training. The crawl stage is getting as many people in your organization as possible up to speed with basic AI capabilities. And through that, we've rolled out over 15 different training programs that you can select from the C-suite all the way down to the individual contributor level. I will come in and my team will come in and we will work with you to roll out that training either in a 1-day, full day shot, or we can spread it out over the course of several weeks. Both approaches work, but we do them because we find that it hits different. It sticks different. When you do a full day training, sometimes that's great because you can have a lot of people there and they can all focus in. When you space it out, that's really great too for smaller groups, because then they can take the information they're learning and digest it. So the crawl stage is really just that. You want to lay this groundwork across your organization in any white collar operational roles, people who are sitting in front of computers for a lot of their day, or maybe even field folks who could still benefit from AI from an administrative perspective. These are the areas that it's really crucial to nail the crawl stage. Because if you skip the crawl stage, things get really messy really fast. So we've got the crawl stage established. It's basically training your teams. It's getting everybody up to speed with how AI works. And with these 3 things, you will see those 30% productivity boosts for your average users in the crawl stage. So what are the 3 things? Number 1, access to a large language model. This could be Microsoft Copilot. This could be Claude. This could be Perplexity. This could be ChatGPT. This could be Gemini. The big 5 are the ones that can really help propel your teams forward. Access to a large language model is a priority number 1. Priority number 2 is the ability to transcribe meetings. Now, you could be using Microsoft Teams, you could be using Fireflies or Fathom or Otter. There's tons of different note-taking and transcription tools that have come on the scene now. Doesn't really matter what one you use, just that you do transcription. There is so much context that happens in meetings between individuals and teams and clients that the AI needs to capture. And without capturing that, you're ending up doing a lot of manual work, transcribing things yourself, bringing that into the system. And a lot of times that's where anytime there's a gap, things get lost, things get forgotten, stuff falls behind. So we've got access to a large language model. We've got meeting transcriptions. The third thing you need that's absolutely crucial and where we come in is you need to train your team how to properly prompt and work with these AI tools. Now, on the surface level, you can get great results just, as a new user trying it out. Summarize this email, summarize that website, summarize this report, find this stuff. That's usually what most people start doing. They think of ChatGPT or Copilot as like a glorified Google. It's so much more than that. It's so much more powerful than that. And without being able to experience that, your teams will be stuck in this kind of cycle of just using it as a Band-Aid and tacking it on to the way they've always done work. We want to change that. We want AI first work. And this is a pretty big philosophy, but it's this idea that sure, there's going to be people getting more efficient with AI, and sure, they're going to have less work to do because AI is going to take over some of it. But there's going to be this whole new work stream of thinking with AI and preparing your business and shaping your business to work more effectively with AI. That's going to be the new area that people explore and build. And that's why you don't want to be cutting headcount, most importantly, because you need people to figure that out. Okay, so that's the crawl stage in a nutshell. You train your teams, you get them access to a large language model, transcription capability, proper prompting techniques and effectiveness, and then we train them essentially on how to work through a couple different things. So number one, we train them on how to establish SOPs. What's an SOP? Standard operating procedure. An SOP is a collection of tasks. So it moves from left to right. People do the work and AI documents the work. By doing this, what you're doing is you're essentially teaching the AI system that you've established all the things that your staff does to figure out what it can do or what it can't do. This is really crucial because in my book, I talk about this idea called the trifurcation of work, where every business needs to think about work being split up into three buckets. Bucket number one is things only AI can do. Bucket number two is AI with a human in the loop, meaning the AI does a bunch of work and then the human validates or verifies it. These are usually things involving money or product where sure, the AI can do a bunch of work, but you do want one more little fact check before you give that discount, before you give that refund, or before you push that code, or before you launch that product. So that's where the human in the loop comes in. Lastly, human only work. This is crucial because there's certain things that AI can't do, which is obvious, but there's certain things that AI shouldn't do. And figuring out what that is for your business is going to be different for every single business, but it might be great to have an AI salesperson, like a virtual salesperson that goes out and sells things for you. But you might be in an industry where customers do not want to talk to an AI. So that's probably something you could automate, but shouldn't with AI. So that's a human only task. So hopefully this is all clicking. It's all sticking together. So back to the SOPs. We train your teams on how to establish standard operating procedures, document those standard operating procedures as they're done manually, and then start looking at ways they can automate those tasks and SOPs. Through that, you start building that crawl muscle and you get ready to move into the walk stage. All right, so back to our little diagram here. So in the walk stage, now your team understands how AI works. They're working with it effectively. They're mapping out their tasks and figuring out, hey, I can use AI for this, and I can take that 2-hour process and turn it into a 15-minute process. And they're looking at their workflows as well. And they're saying, now, how do I stack these SOPs together to make my overall job more efficient? This is where people orchestrate AIs. They send a prompt and a bunch of work gets done, and the AI does the work for them. In the walk stage, the other key piece that we're doing is we're connecting departments together through those workflows. So when you hire a new person, for example, your HR team, hires the person into the HRIS system or into your ERP system, and AI can now proliferate a whole bunch of tasks automatically, like setting up all of their user accounts, setting up all of their benefits information, preparing their first day packet or their first day experience, scheduling meetings for them and their boss and their team. All that can be done with AI now. But there's also a bunch of IT stuff that needs to happen when you hire somebody, right? The IT team needs to provision all of their user accounts. They need to provision sometimes computers or other technology or supplies and resources for that person. Your ops team probably has a few things they need to do to get ready for that person, like getting them a desk or getting them a chair or getting them some swag or whatever it may be. All of that can now be stitched together with AI. Now we're in the walk stage where not only individual users are streamlining their SOPs and their workflows with AI, but entire departments are connected together. If you're experiencing a 30% productivity boost in the crawl stage, once you transition to the walk stage, we are seeing anywhere from 150 to 300% productivity boosts with the teams that are doing this effectively. This is where some of the real magic happens, because in doing this, you start unlocking the new way work is going to be done for your business. You start looking at the bigger picture and seeing what's all the stuff that people are doing that AI can now do. What's all the stuff that we can automate in either the task level, SOP level, the workflow level? And you start looking at your new org work streams of how do we reorient the way people manage their day-to-day work? How do we reorient how information flows through our business? And that's where this last stage comes in. So we've got these org work streams where now you're stacking workflows together and people are just monitoring what the AI is doing. The trifurcation of work is in full effect, and AI is really orchestrating lots of stuff for you. On the fully automated side, people are watching those areas where AI does 90% of the work and a person comes in and validates that it did it correctly. And most importantly, there's certain people who are still doing human-only tasks. They're still protecting that key element of your business that makes what you do special. And actually, when I think about it, it's not what you do that's important anymore. It really doesn't matter. If you're a financial analyst, if you mow lawns for a living, like it doesn't matter what you do. Now what matters is how you do it, because that's what the AI needs to know to support you. It's not what you do that matters. It's how you do it that matters. If you can properly document and track how you do what you do, this all becomes automatable, or at least the stuff that AI should be doing by itself and the stuff that AI could do with the human watching. And that people part becomes so much more valuable and so much more unique and nuanced, where now you have these people that are helping your business provide a service or provide a product at a whole new level. Okay, so this is where the people come back into play, because now you have an advantage by keeping those people in your business. Think about like the service level you're providing to your clients or customers, for example. Right now, you probably have some sales team members or customer support, customer satisfaction team members or employees that provide a good experience for their customers, but they're maybe strapped and running a little thin. They're always being asked to do more with less to some degree, right? Like, imagine if you could flip that on its head and provide a one-on-one or one-to-many experience like no other business does in your vertical, right? Imagine if instead of just being a plumbing service, like a Holiday Inn level plumbing experience, no offense, Holiday Inn, you're providing a Ritz-Carlton plumbing experience, right? Because your plumbers are no longer bogged down with administrative work or tasks or things like that, or because the team that sells your plumbing services is no longer bogged down tracking everything manually in your CRM and taking notes, they can now engage your clients and customers at a whole new level. And this allows you to really start unlocking new streams of revenue and new opportunities that I was talking about. We're going to touch on that in the next video. So you're going to have to stay tuned if you want to learn how all of this can help generate new forms of revenue for your organization. But I'll wrap up this section talking a little bit about how this all connects together and where it goes from here. So now we've established that people are really a key ingredient to your business being successful in the AI first era, and getting your people trained is really that crawl stage. That's where you lay the foundation. Interlinking departments is the walk stage, where now AI is helping streamline and automate things across multiple departments in your business. In the run stage, this is the last one. This is the key pillar capstone of this experience. In the run stage, you're essentially looking at what AI is doing now as a whole for your organization, and you start documenting and tracking what are the unique things, what's the how you do what you do that other people might be interested in. So let me give you an example. Your Whirlpool, you sell hot tubs, and you start looking at, let's implement a customer service chatbot on our website. That customer service chatbot interacts with people that are interested in buying hot tubs. It shows them a few of the different models and price points, and it schedules an appointment for them to come into your hot tub dealership, find the hot tub that they like, and then purchase that hot tub with your salesperson. Now, as your salesperson's meeting with that client or customer, perhaps they're wearing a device or perhaps they've got their phone transcribing that sales interaction. All of that experience can now be uploaded to your AI. And if the salesperson can't close the deal, the AI can come in and say, hey, looks like you shopped around a little bit. You saw some models, but you didn't quite see the one you liked. And it can do that follow-up and support the salesperson with the follow-up in a much more effective way. The customer gets that follow-up email. They decide on their hot tub. They end up purchasing. Now we've taken them from exploration to final sale. And that whole process of what the AI did in the background is IP. That is the secret sauce. And that's what you can start bottling up and looking to distribute to indirect competitors. So that's where we're going to get into in the next video. If you're interested in learning more about that, stay tuned. We're going to dive into how that works and what that looks like. And just to kind of show one last piece around how we help at C4, how we help you stitch this all together, we've really put together a pretty comprehensive AI adoption journey. We've tracked over 60 different businesses at this point with not only how they're getting started, but some of these companies we're working with are already further along. They're already in the walk stage, or some of them are even in the run stage. So we've established this 4-pillar kind of approach where if you are brand new to AI, if you haven't rolled anything out yet for your business, we put you in the educate phase. And that's where we really get started, helping you understand the landscape, understand what that means for your business. We'll even sit down with your teams and do an AI audit to map out your workflows, your SOPs, whatever it may be. The educate phase is crucial. Then we move to the build phase. That's where the walk stage kind of comes in, and we start looking at how do we start stitching together different work streams in your business. The scale phase is then the next one where we start rolling out custom AI solutions. We start looking at how do your teams collectively start capitalizing on AI. And then the evolve stage is kind of, again, that capstone piece where now you might have a holistic AI solution that can support your entire organization. How do you roll that out more effectively? The last piece that I didn't say about the crawl, walk, run. When you get to that run stage, it's a whole new level. It's way more complex, and you can't really get there without going through the crawl and walk stage. Some companies have tried, and you might have seen that MIT report that came out last September that said 95% of AI projects fail. The 5% that did succeed went through the crawl, walk, run stage. The 95% that failed tried to start at the run stage. And I mentioned this in my introduction video, but I want to bring it home just so it really sticks if you're an executive and you're watching this. The run stage is the most alluring. The run stage is where you start seeing 1,000 to 1,500% productivity boosts with how business works in your organization. A lot of CEOs and a lot of executives heard that number, saw what was possible, and said, go do that first. Don't start with the team. Don't start with the education. We don't need that, right? Let's just get going. And they fell flat on their face. I'm not trying to say that they were bad people or anything like that. I'm just trying to say there is a method to how this is deployed effectively, and they had to find out the hard way. I don't want you to have to find out the hard way. I want to help be there as a guide. I want to help be there as somebody who puts the ball back in your court, who helps you maintain your own sphere of control and all of this AI acceleration craziness. I want to be the person that helps separate the noise from what's authentic and what can be applied at your business. So in the next video, we're going to take a deeper look at how we start driving revenue with this. We've got a fun little mystery box here that we're going to uncover in the next video, and I look forward to sharing that information. Super exciting times. We will see you in the next week or so when the next video launches. We would be thrilled to work with you and your team on rolling these best practices out. If you want to learn more, you can visit c4techservices.com. We also have an amazing AI readiness survey that you can take there. That survey will let you kind of find out where am I at in this whole educate, build, scale, evolve kind of phase, and get you that shot in the arm, or hopefully that you need, that inspiration to get this underway. 2026 is a crucial year. 2026 is it. When it comes to AI, if you don't start implementing now, we're seeing a gap for companies that have implemented AI and those that don't. And that gap is getting wider and wider and wider. I feel it. I kind of see it. If you don't take action in 2026, at some point that gap is going to be insurmountable. Don't let that happen. Head over to our website. Let's get this underway. Let's get this started. It's a lot of fun. So let's say you're not ready to sign up yet. Let's say you just kind of want to watch from the sidelines a little bit longer. I wouldn't suggest it. What you're going to do. You could also follow me on LinkedIn I'm constantly sharing updates regularly around what's happening in the AI space, tips and tricks for how you can leverage Copilot, Perplexity, ChatGPT, all the different AI tools, and most importantly, concepts like this, where how you can start thinking differently about running your business as an AI first organization. Lastly, if you are interested in picking up a copy of the book, head over to turningonmachines.com. You can buy the book directly from there. It's available on some of the other book resources that are out there, but I'd love it if you went to my website directly. There's some other fun stuff you can see there, such as my past speaking engagements, the blog posts that I talked about all the way back to 2016, just to kind of help lay that foundation of trust that I'm not just blowing smoke here. This is something I've been thinking about for a decade. So when it comes to subscribing, you can follow us and subscribe on YouTube. We've also rolled out a new feature through Riverside where you can subscribe directly to the podcast. And anytime a new episode comes out, you'll get that feed directly in your email. We're trying to keep the podcast episodes easy to digest. They're easy to watch if you're commuting on your way to work or on your way home from work. That being said, I'm Zach Engler, Chief AI Officer for C4 Technical Services, and I look forward to catching you on the next one.